So these are exciting times at Bishop Gorman. And one initiative we have is one-to-one computing. So what is one-to-one? That simply means the school purchases a device that's managed by us, and we issue that to the student. In our case, each high school student and teacher is to be issued a managed MacBook Air, a protective case, a messenger bag, and a name tag. All these devices come pre-installed with Microsoft Office and other software. We've got the latest Adobe Creative Cloud, if it's required by the course. These will be filtered at home, and families will be able to purchase this device at a reduced price upon graduating for college. So what are the benefits of this? Well, for one, these devices are standardized. We can manage and control them. We can push out software. We can manage the updates. We manage the internet filtering, the monitoring, and we can intervene if there's an issue. And we're also teaching students responsibility. So why Apple? Well, Apple has the best support in the industry. Their devices have excellent build quality and battery life. It's a device that can last well into college. And Apple has the infrastructure and management tools designed for schools. So it's not enough just to issue a device. We've got to pair it with something. And in our case, we're pairing it with Canvas K-12 LMS. So an LMS is a learning management system. What this does, it allows us to deliver, our teachers to deliver content, monitor student participation, assess student performance. This is similar to Moodle, Blackboard, LMS systems. I've tried to make it very simple. All students have single sign-on with their student-issued email account, and schedules are synchronized automatically with Ringweb. What this means, when a teacher logs in, they have their roster. And when a student logs in, all the classes they'll be taking. So what are the benefits of Canvas K-12? This is teaching 21st century skills: collaboration, communication, information and technology literacy. This is preparation for college. It's the same platform used by our local colleges. It's also popular nationwide. This is also good for increased classroom organization and efficiency. So what's the status of all this? Well, currently, teacher MacBooks are ready to be issued in May. Teacher macOS training is scheduled for our end-of-year in-service. Teachers have been trained and encouraged to use Canvas LMS this school year, and more training is to follow. And the student MDM platform and workflow is ready. So at this point, if anyone has a question, I'll be welcome to answer it. Yes? No. Everyone has to use Canvas. In the future to come. Yes?
Was this precipitated by the desire to do the dual credit and so be able to marry up with the schools?
Not necessarily, but it will help in that.
Is this every student?
This is every high school student. Are we talking MacBook Airs or Canvas?
MacBooks.
Every high school
Every
student.
high school student. Okay.
Yes? They'll have it as long as they're here, and then you have the option of purchasing it. And they'll have a device ready to take to college. Yes?
Can you talk a little bit more about the
So there's technology out. We install an agent on the device, and when they leave the campus, it'll be filtered wherever they're at. The internet will be filtered. Yes? Only if you have wireless at home. Yes?
Sorry, so is this for high school and middle school or just high school?
The one-to-one is for high school.
Okay.
The Canvas is for high school and optional for middle school. Yes. This comes with 3 years of Apple Care.
What we're trying to do with the high school is, have you read the news where college students forget that when they go onto their college accounts, they forget that A, it's being monitored, and B, that they have a higher level of what is expected of them? There were two, and this was last year, there were two Harvard just accepted students. They got onto a message board and they were discussing something on the message board and they made inappropriate comments. I think they were slightly racial in content, and they got kicked out of Harvard before they ever got on campus. What we are trying to do with our high school students is to teach them, you have such a thing as a personal computer, and then when you get into grown-up world, you have something called a business computer. You have a business face, you have a business email, you don't download YouTube videos on your business computer. You don't download your games on your business computer because it's for business. And we're trying to get that type of a culture with our students in high school. Now, I know that some of the middle school parents are thinking, well, what about middle school? What we're using for middle school are the Chromebooks on a need basis in the classrooms, and we're teaching them literacy and responsibility younger. So they won't have the computer in front of them at all times, but what we're going to teach them is Microsoft, how to use your emails and that kind of stuff. Unfortunately, in today's time, believe it or not, this is actually a very tiny iPad. You can do a whole bunch of stuff on this. To me, this is a tool. And so what we're trying to do is to teach the kids that the computers are not for Netflixing or gaming. There's actually a lot of stuff that you can do on it. And unfortunately, some of our students, you think because they have an iPhone in their hand, they know how to work these applications, they know how to do a Word document, they know how to use Microsoft Office. They don't. And so what we're trying to do is to make sure that they have at every level the appropriate level of technology, and we're teaching them responsibility and how to make sure that you use those things in the appropriate ways at the appropriate times. So that's what we're doing with that. And again, they're leased for us for 4 years. You can purchase them early. Apple Care on them. That does not mean that the kids can go crazy with them and break them. We will have a few that they can check out if they ever need them again. That's why we're giving them name tags and little messenger bags. Those computers must be in those messenger bags with their names on them. They have to have them password locked and all that kind of stuff. There's a whole brand new rules and policies and procedures little section that we will be giving you guys once all of this stuff really starts to roll out. Okay, the next thing that we're going to talk about that's so much fun is dual credit.
My name is Stacy Trasenkos, and I was born in Greenville. I grew up in Paris. I moved away about 25 years ago to the East Coast, and I found myself back here in Texas, and was thrilled to be back in. I wasn't Catholic when I was growing up, so I was thrilled to be back here in my home area and to discover that I was in the diocese where I had grown up, unbeknownst to me at the time, before I was Catholic. And I was really, really excited to get involved with the diocese and the school here particularly when Father Steffel and Mrs. Perry contacted me and said, what do you think about a dual enrollment program? And I thought it was a great idea because I was a chemist, so I have a doctorate in chemistry, but I left that career when I became Catholic to raise children, and I actually got a master's degree in dogmatic theology doing online courses. So I know about this online stuff from a student perspective. Then I homeschooled our children and helped Colby Academy build their science department, so I know about it from a parent perspective as well. And then I started teaching online classes, so I know the online teaching, online course stuff through as a teacher also. Well, dual enrollment credit is, I think I go with it. It is a program. So what are we doing here then? What is that? How does that tie into here? I know this thing inside and out. It's a program where you really use the abilities of the internet to reach out and make things available that weren't before. UT Tyler is all over it. They have dual enrollment programs with several other high schools in the area. So they know what they're doing. They've got this. It's not new for them. But we are in the process of, we've got it in our hands, we've looked over it, everything looks good, signing the contract with them to offer dual enrollment credit as a partnership between Bishop Gorman and the University of Texas at Tyler. So a student that takes one of these courses, it's mostly going to apply to juniors and seniors, but any student could theoretically in 9th through 12th grade take one of these courses. The course will offer university credit and high school credit, dual credit. You get credit for both at the same time. You receive 2 sets of transcripts. You get a transcript from UT Texas, UT Tyler, and you get a transcript from Bishop Gorman. The classes will be taught by a UT professor, but facilitated by a Bishop Gorman instructor. These courses are going to be online, on campus, or both. What that means for the students here on campus is some of them will be taught by the UT Tyler professor online, but the students will meet in a classroom with an instructor here who will help them access Canvas. So here's the tie-in with Canvas, learning management system. UT Tyler uses Canvas as well. And so they'll go on Canvas on their MacBooks, and they'll access their assignments. They'll watch videos that are teaching or instructional. They'll do whatever homework is. They'll do that here in their classrooms, but they'll be taking instruction from the professor at UT Tyler. The neat thing about it is it's a win-win for both sides. UT Tyler does this, like I said, with lots of high schools in the area because it brings students to their campus. Some high schools have all their students go to their campus and take courses there, but we thought that would be too much. You know, the students are already here. But it brings students to their campus. It's a win for our side of things because it obviously gives students the capability to earn college credit while they're still in high school. It allows them to earn college credit kind of not just in an online, on-campus hybrid way, but also in a hybrid way, like they're going to be taken care of here. Somebody's going to be looking out for them, making sure that, you know, they're still in a Catholic institution. And they're not just going to be turned out like their first freshman year into a college campus where they're out on their own. So it is a hybrid in that respect too. They're going to still be here under the care of Bishop Gorman, but they will be getting college credits. The courses will then, this is the really neat thing, UT Tyler, the state of Texas, Bishop Gorman, everybody's all on the same page. The courses have to be equivalent. I'm going to teach the chemistry courses. So I will work for UT Tyler as an adjunct professor. I will teach the chemistry courses, but I'll also be the facilitator for the students here. And I have to get the curricula approved by the department chair in the chemistry department at UT Tyler. I have to teach that course with the same standards as any other college course. There are no remedial, this is the language exactly, no remedial courses are allowed to be offered. They have to be as rigorous as a college course. They will prepare students for college. And the syllabi have to be approved. The delivery, like I said, the UT faculty is the official instructor. They will use Canvas Learning Management System, which is an excellent learning management system. I've used several different ones over the years. This is my favorite by far. And there will be some hybrid. There will be some that are only taught online. That's another piece that we're working on is the online classes, but that doesn't apply for on-campus students. The tuition is $99 per credit hour, which is a fantastic deal for college. It's way less than what UT Tyler offers for in-state students. So and again, they do it because it's good for their college. It's good to get students on campus. There will be a cost for books. I don't know exactly how that shakes out right now. Some books are online, you just buy access to them. Some books we already have here and you'll just have them, borrow them. And some classes may not even have books, so that will depend on the course. I don't know about the course fees yet. So there are some course fees. I did read the language, the fine lines. There are some course fees, but it varies by course. There are also, for your regular university student who goes to the campus, there are lots of other fees that won't apply to us because your students aren't going to be living on campus and doing all of those same things. There's an eligibility piece that's pretty serious. You must be enrolled at Bishop Gorman, of course. The students who want to take these courses have to take the TSI. It's something that the state of Texas requires, but all you have to do is, there's an office that administers these tests on a computer. You go there or you make an appointment. I don't think you even have to make an appointment. And you go there, take the test, and your scores don't determine whether you get in a class or not, but they do help them place the students in the classes. Those are the college readiness standards. You know, you can't be struggling seriously in any of your courses already. You have to be eligible for these. And then they already have an online place for dual enrollment where the students will enroll. There we go. So here are a list of the courses that we're going to have in the fall. There will be more to come later, but this is where we're starting. There will be 2 English courses. The college number is English 1301 and 1302. This is grammar and composition 1 and 2. Each one of those is 1 semester and it's 3 credit hours. So you can get an entire freshman year of English done. It corresponds to the 2701 English. Notice that for the high school equivalent, it's the full year course because in high school you do English the whole that's the senior course, the whole senior year. And so you will get the 1 semester of high school credit for that whole year, but you will get 6 semesters of college credit. The chemistry, which is the one I'm going to do, and I'm very excited to do that because I just think everybody should love chemistry because chemistry is the best thing ever. Like, if you want to know about God's handiwork, let me tell you about atoms. Okay, back to the chemistry courses, but I teach AP Chemistry right now at Colby Academy, and it's the same textbook. It's the same Pearson book that UT Tyler uses for all their freshman classes. And so I'm going to get to turn that into an online course. I will be the professor from UT Tyler's side, but I will also be around here to help with that part, and also I'm going to be doing all the online stuff. But look at this. I have students who graduate and go off and decide they want to love atoms too, and they become scientists too, which makes me so happy, Catholic scientists. But they go off and they worry about that first year. Like, it really does help them to get a whole year of chemistry. I've got a student right now going to University of Dallas, and she's going to do one of their summer programs where she gets the whole first year in the summer, and I think that's a little much. But the students here would be able to get 2 semesters of chemistry done. notice the fine print down there, the chemistry labs will be on the UT Tyler campus. I've been teaching online chemistry courses for the last 4 years, and the most frustrating thing about it is trying to teach a lab online. You can't do it. It just can't be done. It's a compromise that you have to accept. But we won't have that. We are going to be able to use the UT Tyler chemistry labs. And the students have to have, it's a lot, 45 hours per semester of lab work, but we're going to be able to schedule that. We're going to be able to go there and do it, and do a real university lab on the university campus. And these credits are 4 because the lab is 1 credit, the class is 3 credits. And that's your whole freshman year. So if your student is going to major in anything that requires chemistry, whether it's a science major or something else, and a lot of them also require science classes, this will be available. We also have the same thing for math. We chose the pre-calculus math. Now notice it's different. The whole year, 2 semesters of high school credit is going to be spread out. They're going to spread that 1 semester university class out over the whole year. But this is the more rigorous math class. It is the math class that is the best for everybody, meaning the same thing like I said with chemistry. For the students who want to go on to a technical major, this is the math class they will need. It's the harder one, the pre-calculus. But students who aren't going to be technical majors, STEM majors, this will also work, definitely will work for their math credit. And then Father Steppel is going to teach Introduction to Ethics, which is a brand new course for UT Tyler. It's a philosophy course, it's a theology course here, right? It's both, yes. And what this means is all the seniors taking their theology course here at Bishop Gorman are going to get university credit, 3 credit hours. So if you add it all up, this is really hard math. That took me a while. I actually did use a calculator. That's 20 credits total at $99 each is about $2,000. But that's about what it comes out to. And what I have here is just a comparison, because I'm a parent too. I have 7 kids, and I know that's one of the first things I'm starting to do is add it up. Even for in-state students, that you get up to like 7 credits before you hit that same number. So it is a good deal. It's definitely a good deal for out-of-state, but we're all in-state, so it doesn't matter. But this is help. So what will happen is the way that you'll enroll for those courses, if you want to, is you'll need to express an interest, your students, decide if you're interested. You'll need to go through dualenrollment.com, and we're going to have all that stuff posted on the website. To enroll there, they'll need transcripts, but that's no problem. They'll need to take the TSI test, but that's a Saturday morning or afternoon, or during the summer. And then you will have to pay for the extra credit, that's the college credit part. That will be added on extra.
In my class, just my class, if I have them reading a book, and they do, right now I assign 30 pages because they've got Monday night and Tuesday night. Now, theoretically, I know some of my students read 30 pages Tuesday night if they have class on Wednesday. What they're supposed to do is be reading 15 pages a night. What this will do, because the increments will be smaller, I don't have to assign 30 pages. I can assign 10. And if we have a great discussion and we're not finished, I might not give homework that night because I still want to make sure that they understand that we've covered all of the symbolism of water the next time. Will teachers have to kind of look at their classes and see how to make that work? Yeah, they will. But you know what the good thing about that is? We're going to then look at our classes. We're going to look at our lessons. And we're going to think, you know what, maybe I can fix this. Maybe I can make this more interesting. Or maybe I can figure out something. In the 1990s, there was this thing, No Child Left Behind. Everybody needs to graduate and go to college. And then here in Texas, in 1999, they began to do this research on having the block schedule. They initially had the block schedule introduced so kids could get more credits, more graduation credit hours. So they started with a typical 4x4 block, which means you meet 4 classes every day for a semester, and then 4 new classes the second semester. And, you know, lighter load, more intensive. But then they started realizing if you take English in the fall, if you're not careful and schedule correctly, then you cannot take English again until the spring of the following year, and that kind of messes you up. And so then they started saying, okay, well then you can take English 1, English 2, English 3, English 4, and have all of your Englishes out of the way by the time that you finish sophomore year. And then you don't have English again, and you're taking the ACT, SAT. So then they started thinking, well, maybe we should look at something different. Maybe not the 4x4, maybe we should do some type of a modified block. So that's kind of where we are. Currently, we have green and white days. Everybody knows green and white days. So what does that mean? That teachers see students 5 out of 10 days. So out of 10 days, I see your student, if you're in my class, 5 times. 1 week, I'll see them 2 days a week. 1 week, I'll see them 3 days a week. And we've got 90 minutes per class. So that doesn't sound too bad, except for 5 times out of 10 days. So what does that mean? That means that per semester, I will see my students, my English 2 students right now, I see them 40 times, because I'm a green day. And if I had them, your math class meets either 40 or 41 times in a semester. And that's if you don't miss for sports, TAPS, sick, vacation, or the teacher gets sick. Okay? So that kind of cuts down on my time with my students. So every class theoretically is 2 classes long. So what that means is there's a lot of material that you're going to miss when you're sick. And then you have to catch up. So not only do you have to catch up on the days that you missed, now you have to also be in class. I've been doing a lot of observation, not quite 500 visits, but close. And I was in a geometry class, and I'm just picking on geometry because I'm not spatial. It was torture to be in that class the first time. And this time it wasn't so bad, but in a 90-minute class, they went through 5 congruent triangle theorems in 90 minutes. That's a lot of material. I have like 8 pages of notes because I got caught up instead of watching what I was supposed to watch. I was taking class all over again, trying to make sure that I was taking all my notes really well. So imagine if your child was out for any reason, through no fault of their own, they were doing something amazing and representing us really well at Gorman, so now they have to teach themselves or find the time to get tutored for 5 congruent theorems. Angle, side, side, remember all those? Yeah, all 5 of them. For new teachers, this makes getting to know the students a real challenge. It took me personally, a lot longer to get to know my student than I liked. I like to know within a couple of weeks, oh, today is not a good day. I can tell by the way that they came into the classroom. I know that their grandmother is sick, so today when they acted out, it was, they had an inappropriate response to something, but I knew it's because of this. I didn't get to know my kids. I only meet them 10 times a month. It took me a while. It took me longer, and I've been doing this for a long time. It took me a lot longer, I felt, to really get to know my students. So, what I started thinking was, okay, well, what does that look like? Well, give you an example of this 10 times a month. So the 11th graders go on CSI. It's amazing. It's an awesome opportunity. I think it's great for them. They typically, in the past, have always scheduled CSI and then spring break. So, if you have a current junior, your child went to class the 1st or the 2nd, so we'll just pick on math, because, why not? We'll pick on math. They had math either March 1st or March 2nd. Then they had math again on March 19th or March 20th. And the 21st they took the SAT. That, to me, I was thinking, wow, that's a lot of time for my child to be out of class right before they take the SAT. And I'm trying to, my daughter, of course, now wants to go back to Tennessee and not get in-state tuition. So, I need the child to get really good grades. So I was thinking, maybe we could do something a little bit different. Maybe there's a way that we can make this work even better for us. So then I started thinking, okay, well, what do colleges do? So right now, most colleges have 3, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 50 to 55-minute classes. And then the science classes or things like that go on Tuesdays or Thursdays. Or nowadays, they actually have class twice a week, and then they have a lab on the third day. That's what students are experiencing now. The shorter classes, I know that the theory behind block was the longer class, it's more intensive of a discussion, there's more lab time and that stuff, and that is true for those instances. But a smaller amount of period, by the way, does everybody know that the actual average, whatever that means, attention span for most kids in our age group is 22 minutes. And I would think that sometimes if you see the way we squirm at church when we feel like somebody's sermonizing too long, obviously some of us, our attention span is less than 22 minutes. So what I started thinking was, okay, well, colleges now are doing these 50 to 55-minute classes. They have one long period for a lab. What can we do? The shorter classes allow teachers to teach smaller increments, and then what they can do is I can reteach something. So, if we are talking about participles, in the class right now I talk about participles, gerunds, run-on sentences, blah, 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 blah. I won't know, and that's on a Monday, quiz on Wednesday, I won't know what they're missing, what they didn't get, until it's kind of along the way. If I saw them every day, and I could test on gerunds, I can test on participles, I can test on punctuation, I know exactly where they are. And then I can go reteach for that student or students if I did not such a great job of teaching participles. I mean, participles are hard. So I can get it immediately rather than waiting and having a child, and we've all had this with our own kids. I am so lost, I don't even know where to tell you where to start over. I'm like, okay, that means the beginning. So by having this way, maybe, just maybe, we're gonna get some of our kids quicker, and we won't have that longer and longer stretch of where they don't know what they're supposed to be doing. So what are we thinking? What are we trying to do? We are trying to take the best of the block and make it work in new ways. There are great things about the block, there are not so great things about the block, so maybe we're going to take some of that out and we're going to try to make it work best for the students. That's what this is about. How can we help your child learn the most, the best that they can in an environment that's going to get them comfortable so when they leave us, they know, again, they got this. They don't have to worry about anything. So what we're looking at is maybe 3 days of 55-minute classes and 2 days of block classes for labs, testings, and projects, which will then, so if we have blocks on Wednesdays and blocks on Thursdays, with all that stuff, labs can be done, a test can be done, but because it's a block day, guess what? There's only 3 blocks with mass and lunch and everything else. They can't be over-tested if you're going to use that. For our kids who have, who go to need extended time, you have that hour and a half to be tested, plus a little bit more. That I feel might help them a little bit more. Then they've got 55 minutes to have conversations, talk, discussions, learn. Instead of 5 theorems, maybe you get 2 covered. 2 covered, learn it, homework, quiz on the next day, got it? Great, 2 more. Quiz on it, homework, and that kind of stuff. And that's what we're working on. We're still fine-tuning it. I know that, so we had a faculty meeting and somebody didn't pick up their papers, and so that was left on the table, and there was a mad dash of texting and gnashing of teeth and a dear mom, please come up here and talk to Miss Perry right now. That was one schedule. And what I have to do, what I've been doing, is you take those schedules, because those bell schedules are theory, and then you start actually putting it into application. What does that look like this way? And then you start plugging classes. Is that going to work? Then you're making sure that you've got time for mass. You've got time for other liturgical things that we might want to be doing, a prayer service, or what is it going to look like on a half day? You got to flip that around and see what that's going to look like. So you got to go through a whole bunch of stuff. I think we're getting there. I've got a little bit more. But once we have what we feel is going to be a great opportunity for your students to have the best of both worlds as much as we are able to present something like that to them, we're going to send it out.